Good morning, everyone. This is my view this morning as I sit on a swinging bench. I'll turn around and let you see what it looks like, but here's the boat ramp. It seems like it's going to be a nice day here. We are overcast, but it doesn't look like there's rain in the immediate future. We could get some later on. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on here in the south. There's fronts all over, but we're not seeing it here. It's calm. Just look how still that water is. Later on this week, I'm going to be up on a faster part of the river with a couple of sandbars. It's supposed to be a really good fishing spot. I'm not fishing, but it'd be more interesting to look at, I think. All right, there's my swing. I am in a public area. This park has a day use area where there's picnic tables and barbecues and things like that all along here at the river. Anybody can come in during the day with a parking fee. Most places charge you $5 a day unless you have an annual pass. And as a senior citizen, my annual pass was $20, so I've already paid it, so I'm good for the year. All right, let's go ahead and get started. A couple of issues on the news front. Russia has basically told Iran to get out of Syria, at least stop bringing your arms in here and being a target because you're getting too close to the Russian bases. We don't want an international incident yet. Israel's been bombing right up to the Russian bases because that's where Iran's been parking everything. They're used to doing whatever they want. Now they've got someone to tell them to knock it off. Let's see how they take it. They tried to go into one airport with a commercial airliner full of arms. Whatever they are, doesn't matter. So they bombed it, Damascus airport. Then they tried to fly into the northern airport. So they bombed it. And the plane had to turn around and go back. Israel's not playing. The United States isn't going to help them. So they're ready to go at whatever level. If you push them, they will use their nukes. Because everybody wants them wiped off the face of the map. When you push somebody into the corner like that, don't be surprised when they react. Okay? Let's see, today is Saturday, so we should have another attempt at a moon rocket, Artemis 1. We'll see if it makes it. NASA's still playing with their old style. Let's pay so much money we can't afford it to have somebody else make a rocket and hope they do it right. And if they don't, well, we'll renegotiate next time for more money. It doesn't work. SpaceX shows you how to do it. They do it until they get it right, and then they repeat it. And they reuse. Everything that the government does, it seems like, and I've worked with the government, everything is a one-off. If you pay for, you need to have one resistor. This used to bug me. I needed, maybe a half a dozen resistors. You got to buy them in packs of 100. So you use the half a dozen. You've got 94 left. What can you do with them? Nothing. You can't dispose of them because that's disposing of government property. You can't reuse them on another project because that's just not the way they play the stupid game that they play. And it is a stupid game. So this is a long time ago, so I'm sure that everything's safe now. But what they used to do is they'd take the overage, stick it up in the ceiling tiles. And that way, for the next project, they had a starting cache of parts. They still had to order the 100 for the 6 or whatever it is they needed on the next project, but they could pull them out of their stash and get busy and get working and not have to wait, weeks or months for those parts to come in. They found a way to work around it. I'm not going to tell you where they hid them, but they would hide them so they could use them on the next project. Bin boxes full of parts, everything you can think of that they couldn't use on the first project. Sorry I'm a little jumpy, I forgot to bring my selfie stick. And I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to read my verses. We're not doing a big Bible read this morning because I've already covered this. We're going to be reading in Revelation chapter 13, and that's Babylon. But we're going to show how the Bible is in Revelation is overlaying. We're going to see where Babylon is destroyed in different chapters because there's an overlay. It's not linear. They didn't destroy it and then in the next couple of chapters rebuild it back and then destroy it again. These people that insist on it being linear haven't studied it, apparently. They only study the material given to them in their seminary because that's all they learn. You've got to go back and study it. And you're going to also, as we talked in the last one, you've got to pay attention to the wording. Just because a word is used doesn't mean that's the original Greek meaning. You need a concordance. Now this is where computers are great, because I've got a program on my laptop now that has everything in it. It has the Bible. I can get it in different versions. I still use the King James whenever I can, because it's a word for word. There's a couple other ones that you can do, but why read 6 Bibles when you can only have to read maybe 2? I keep an NIV version, and I keep a King James, and I prefer the New King James because they've removed the these and thous. Those of you that insist on the King's English to read the Bible, they didn't speak the King's English in the first few centuries. 1611 is when they wrote the King James Bible. Prior to that, it was probably written in Latin, and that's how they understood it. A lot of our words that we use come from Latin, because that's what the early church put together when they didn't want the people reading. They made the decision that the people are too stupid to figure this out on their own. We're going to read it, we're going to put it in a language they can't understand, and we're just going to spoon feed it to them because they're too stupid to understand it. How about that? That's man's version of how to run things. Of course, they probably got that idea from Satan. We all have the potential. It's just most people don't use enough of their potential. When you get the Spirit in you, He'll show you how to use it. Don't be afraid. Let Him show you. All right, I'm just going to grab a park bench and find some place to put my phone. I'm going to have to probably block it up with a rock or something so I can open the Bible and read, but if not, I'll just do it with 2 hands. So let me go get in position over here so I can look at the scriptures. Things are, continuing on the same, getting worse. Our fearless leader basically threw everything he could at the right, blamed him for all kinds of stuff. Everything he blamed him for is exactly what the left is doing. Do you see how they lie? It's amazing that they can get away with that. But I guess the early church people were right with some people. They are so ignorant they can't figure things out. Without the Spirit, people are going to get misled. They're going to get lied to. Even with the Spirit, we get lied to, but sometimes we can figure it out. We're still getting too close to the election. They've only won one election where they've turned it. They're going to pull something. So let me go get up, go find me a bench, turn around and see there's my view. Got more people coming in. This may get very busy here today. It's already busy around me. Somebody came into the campsite next to me after 9 o'clock. The park closes at 12. I mean at 10 o'clock. You're supposed to be in place at 10 o'clock. Okay, I think I figured out how to do this. I've got a barbecue that I think I can put my phone in. Let me drop off while I get this set and we'll see how it works. Okay, this is an interesting view. Not having my stick to hold this thing on the table, I have to do this propping it up. But it'll work. Anyhow, because we have this overlay, we're going to see that the fall of Babylon is going to be talked about in a couple of different chapters. But to start off with, what we're going to see is because we're dealing with the end times and the wrath of God, there's going to be a push. We've talked about it before. If we read in Revelation 14:6, Revelation 14:1 talks about the 144,000. But if we go down to 6, then I saw an angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach to those who dwell on the earth, to every nation, tribe, tongue, and people. That's basically the whole world. Saying with a loud voice, "Fear God and give him glory, for the hour of his judgment has come. And worship him who made heaven and earth and the sea and the springs of water." And then another angel followed, saying, "Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she has made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication." So we can see right there, we're talking about the fall of Babylon now. Apparently there is going to be a city as well. Mystery Babylon is made up of, the 7 kings, but one of them is going to be their home. Unless that's also just talking in generalities. With prophetic stuff, you never know. Let's turn over to chapter 18. But before I do, I'm going to read out of 17:7. "But the angel said to me, 'Why did you marvel? I will tell you a mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her.'" You see, she's riding on the beast like I talked about yesterday, which has 7 heads and 10 horns. She has the 7 heads and he has the 10 horns. "The beast that you saw was and is not, and will ascend out of the bottomless pit and go to perdition." Remember, the Apollion's coming out of the bottomless pit into a new body that's just been resurrected. Because the Antichrist is going to get killed, resurrected, and then inhabited by the Apollyon. Okay. "And those who dwell on the earth will marvel, whose names are not written in the book of life." We've already covered this. "He is the mind which has wisdom. 7 heads are 7 mountains in which the woman sits. There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other has yet to come." The Antichrist is the 7th king, gets killed and comes back as the 8th king. Technically the 7th. "The beast that was and is not is himself also the 8th. There it is right there in the scripture. Okay, well let's look at 18. "After these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was illuminated with his glory. And he cried mightily with a loud voice, 'Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen.'" It's a repeat, "and has become a dwelling place of demons, a prison of every foul spirit, a cage for every unclean, hated bird. For all the nations have drunk the wine of the wrath of her fornication." It's just a repeat. So you've got it talked about in 2 different chapters because it's an overlay. And the world will mourn Babylon falling because the world was taking of everything that it had. It's a worldly, I don't want to call it a religion, but a worldly organization. And some of the quotes also are pulling out of the Old Testament. We can go to Isaiah 21:9. And look, here comes the chariot of men with a pair of horsemen. And he answered, Babylon has fallen, Babylon has fallen. All the carved images of her gods he has broken to the ground. You can see why God doesn't like Babylon. Many images. He doesn't like idols. And then we're going to turn to Jeremiah 51:8. Babylon has suddenly fallen and been destroyed. Wail for her. Take balm for her pain. Perhaps she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go, everyone to their own country. For her judgment reaches to heaven and is lifted up to the skies. So God is more than happy to put Babylon in its place. I'm going to see if I can pick this up without shaking it too bad so I can walk around a bit. Are we going to see the fall of Babylon? I don't think so, because the one who takes down Babylon is the beast, the antichrist. He uses his 10 kings to go after her. So he has to be here and we can't be here. Revelation 12 says that we're going to be raptured when he sends his third of his angels down to come and get us, to kill us. And shortly after that, he will be cast out of heaven and be down here permanently. So we won't be here. But the world will see it. And the choice that the world has is to accept the pretty world that they're painting. Everybody's going to be dependent on Babylon, on the harlot. By that time, they will have pretty much taken over the world. And the harlot's going to feed everybody, it's going to take care of everybody, give everybody what they need, some of what they want. But the bottom line is, it's in the agenda that we've talked about. You will own nothing and be happy. And if you're not happy, you will be disposed of, I guess would be the polite way of saying it. You certainly won't get any time on the news. They're only going to be showing people that are happy with the situation. They won't be showing anybody else. It's not a place that we want to be. Now the world will probably be happy with it because they can continue to sit around like they are now, doing nothing and getting paid to do nothing. They're breeding that into the psyche, into the generations. The young people are learning how to do this properly. It is not the kind of world that we've had before, where you can take pride in what you do because you're actually accomplishing something. All you're going to be accomplishing is staying alive. All right, I'm going to walk back to my camp, finish my walk. You guys have a blessed day till we meet in the clouds. God bless. I had one more thought. If they would treat the book of Revelation like they treat the Gospels. 3 of the Gospels are pretty much a repeat of each other from 3 different points of view. John's is a little bit different, but they do have overlap. Why don't we just read straight through and just, it's all linear. From Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they're all linear. Let's just all put them together and just have Jesus crucified 4 times. Well, they don't do that. They're smart enough for that. But why do they do that with Revelation? They didn't take the time to understand it. Okay, bye for now.